Good day, everyone. My name is MicheleDClark, and I'm your favorite small town girl with big time dreams who God has definitely shown his grace and his mercy, and he has saved me from some life threatening things. I'm so glad that he did. Why? Because today is a terrific Tuesday on purpose, and because today is Tuesday Talks with Miss Clark, LMSW at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hello, everyone. OMG. It is so awesome to be with you all today. So, as you know, we have our segment for our rapid fire AMA. That's Ask Miss Clark Anything. Let's get this up here real quickly. I know I have it here somewheres, right? So, as we're pulling that up, here we go. So, make sure that you get your questions ready, locked, and loaded to go because AMA does not stand for Against Medical Advice. It also does not stand for American Music Awards. It stands for Ask Miss Clark Anything. So, make sure that as we get towards the end of our show, which this is a 30-minute segment, and so we will have our questions, right? Rapid fire. So you can ask me some questions, get your burning questions answered so that way you can live inspire free and what you all transformed, right? So make sure to get that in order. But before we do that, before we get fast forward all the way to the end of the segment, let's rewind all the way back to the beginning. And I see eyeballs popping on. Welcome to the show. Today is Tuesday Talks with Miss Clark, LMSW at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm super excited to have each and every one of you all chiming in today and hanging out with me. All right, you all, and we'll get to our topic in 2.5 seconds. Before we do that, let's go ahead and get to our customs. So, of course, we have household customs. No, they're not rules. They're just customs, things that we like to do, just like we like to know who's watching. So if you'd like to have a proper shout out, then make sure to put your name over in the chat or in the chat, depending on which platform you're watching on. And of course, tell me where you're watching from. Now, I don't mean LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, but of course, if you are watching from LinkedIn and Facebook, make sure you like this post, make sure you heart this post, make sure you support this post, make sure you share this post. So then that way you're not the only person who gets a chance to win, right? And learn about Tuesday Talks, Miss Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we give you all strategies. We talk about different things that's important to you and empowering professional women to live inspired free and transform. So if you know some other professional ladies, do not keep this the best kept secret, right? Make sure you share this out with someone else because in this instance, sharing is caring. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and click the little bell so then that way you are in the know when we drop new content. All right, you all. So that's custom number one. Custom number two. I see some more eyeballs popping on. Welcome to the show. If you are a newbie, welcome to the first time, of course, to Tuesday Talks with Miss Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you are a repeat supporter, then welcome back to the show. So, and if you, of course, are What's going on, baby bro? He is super funny. So, of course, we have Mr. Algerone Goodson chiming in from the D. Yesterday, we celebrated 313 Day. I thought for sure you were going to chime in yesterday, sir. But of course, you can always chime in on Taco Tuesdays, right? Which is also Tuesday Talks with Miss Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, welcome to the show, sir. And of course, he is watching from the D. All right. And we're talking about Detroit. All right, you all. So, our second custom is to make sure that you have your water locked and loaded, ready to go. Why? Because we have our breakfast station identification for our hydration. And of course, if you are a newbie, you may not know that. So run and go get it right now. Make sure you take your phone with you so you don't miss a second. And of course, if you have been a repeat supporter, you already know to have your water locked and loaded, ready to go. So this will be a great time to go ahead and share this out with somebody. So then that way they also can get their burning questions answered during our rapid fire AMA segment. And of course, they can talk about it and hear what the topic is for today. So let's get that quick station identification for our hydration. So that way we can get started with the show. 1, 2, 3, go team. Let's go. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yummy, yum, yum. And of course, if you know me, you know I like my water what? Room temp. All right, you all, let's go. Let's get started with our Tuesday Talks with Miss Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What is our topic for today? Drum roll, let's go. Okay, come on, Banner. Here we go. All right, so let's get it going here, you all. Okay, so quick side note, you all. My mouse has been doing something really weird. It really does not want to work. I guess it's saying to itself, okay, Michelle, you've overworked me. I'm ready to take a vacation. Well, just hold fast, okay? But in the meantime, in between time, let's go ahead and get this topic up there. Okay, drum roll, y'all. Pop. Okay, here we go. All right. Law of associations, you also. Today, for our Tuesday talks with Miss Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is law of associations. Now, I see some more eyeballs popping on, so go ahead and let me know where you're watching from in the chat. So when I talk about where you're watching from, I already talked about, I wasn't talking about LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, but I was talking about your city, your state, your country, your continent, or your county, your province, wherever you are watching from. Make sure to go ahead and put that over the chat so that way you can get a proper shout out. And again, it is a custom, it is not a requirement. All right, you all. So, law of associations. Now, some people say, okay, Michelle, I already know about law of associations. You become the average of the 5 people with whom you associate. I get that. But listen, it runs so deep. Sometimes we hear something. Sometimes when we hear something like law of associations or gravity or whatever the case may be, when we hear those things, it's like, okay, I get it. I get the concept. But let's talk about how deep it really, really runs, y'all. Let's talk about how deep that really, really runs. So I was in a business group yesterday, and we were talking about law of associations. And we were talking about that, of course, you become the average of the 5 people with whom you associate. Now, if you think to yourself, who do I hang out with the most? Who are those people? And it doesn't necessarily mean your family. It doesn't necessarily mean your friends. It could be coworkers. It could be clients. It could be, and clients doesn't have to be adults. If you're running a daycare, you're probably hanging out with kids most of the time. And then, of course, maybe some of your coworkers that who are also working at a daycare, whatever. If you're working at a prison, it might be inmates. If you work at a bank, it might be the clients that's coming in there. If you're a banker, it might be affluent clients or people who have prestigious accounts or people who open up an account for them. So you get the point, right? The point is, I want us to expand our mindset that it's not just family and friends. And of course, it might be family and friends. So if you spend a lot of time at home, especially COVID made us, shut us all in and we had to get to know the strangers that would live under our roofs, right? Hello. Sometimes it was just like, oh, okay, I didn't know you like this. So I didn't know you didn't like that. Or, oh, you're starting to get on my nerves. But the bottom line is, who we hang out with the most, that determines not only how we act and react, how we behave, how we respond, right? Also our wealth, our thought process, even all the way down to ladies. I know you all can associate with me or, can feel me on this one, all the way down to our menstruals. Now, I don't know if, okay, when I was in college and of course, in certain situations, me and my daughter, and well, we'll talk about some other parts of that in another time. But here's the deal. It was like, OMG, are you on yours? Yeah, I'm on mine. And the thing is that our bodies then start to become in cycle with each other. Yes, it comes in a rhythm with each other. When you hang out with somebody long enough, it's almost like you become twinsies, if you will, because you can start finishing people's sentences. Like they'll start it, you'll finish it, or you'll be thinking it and they'll say it, or they'll be thinking it and you say it, because you start to become in step, one with the other. Now, in some ways, that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a really, really good thing. Like, oh, okay, we're in alignment. We like the same things. We start speaking the same love languages. And that's really good, of course, if we are in relationship with somebody. And it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be a platonic relationship. But we really start to speak in a language, a jargon, if you will, that's just between us, me and my daughter. Real fun thing. People are probably looking at us like we are, right? Where she may say, it's a couple of different things that she says, but sometimes she'll just go, caw, and she'll just do that little noise, and I'll go, caw, caw, caw. I know, nuts, right? Like, what's going on with them? And there's other couple of little things that we'll do little calls, and nobody will know what we're talking about. But we die laughing, we find it hilarious, and that's just kind of something that's between the two of us. Now, my sister and I, we also have things that's just between the two of us. We were watching a show the other day, and somebody said, "So you're saying there's a chance?" Now, nobody else probably would have known what that's from. Y'all know what that's from? Put in the chat. Put in the chat if you know what that's from. But instantly, I start laughing. She didn't hear it. I said, "Did you hear what he just said?" And then I repeated. She was like, "OMG." We start laughing. That was a line off of Dumb and Dumber. So now I know I'm taking it like here, right? But I really want to take it there because it runs deep. How we think. Now, if you all remember back when we had our Great at 8 Mindset Matters. And we talked about how the mind works. And we broke it down into categories. How events are neither good or bad, but thinking is what makes it so. So, meaning that how we perceive an event, what we think about the event, good or bad, determines how we feel, our emotions, and then it spills over into our emotions, how we behave, respond, react, outcomes. Now imagine you hanging out with someone so much or associating, because somebody say, I'm not hanging out. Okay, associating. When you associate with someone so many hours during the day, you start having those like thoughts, like mind. What some people might call, if you have pets, and I know Dr. Krum, if you're watching, I know you can really relate to this one, but the hive mind. It's almost like it becomes a hive mind. I see some more people chiming in. Welcome to Tuesday Talks with Ms. Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're talking about law of associations. If you'd like to have a proper shout out, one of our household customs is to go ahead and put your name over in the chat, or the chat, depending on where you're watching. And in that way, also, of course, where you're watching from. So that way I can give you a proper shout out of your city, your state, your country, your continent, your province, wherever you're watching from. But we're talking about law of associations, y'all. Law of associations. So yes, that hive mind. Now, it can be a good thing. And sometimes it could be a not so good thing. So just think about when, if it's something that can be detrimental to society, like the isms, racism, ageism, sexism, those types of things. When we have that law of association, it works in reverse, meaning in a not so good way. Just think about how there may be a group of whomever at a water cooler, if they still even have those, and there's somebody who's not like them. And they may have a negative connotation or negative concept of that person that's not like them. Let's say right now for Women's History Month, let's just talk about, let's say it's a woman at water, who's walking up, and she's not like the others. They may or may not allow her to play in on their reindeer games. But not only that, they may discriminate against her because they're not like her, because she doesn't think like them. But they all think alike, and they all don't value or cherish or see the substance of the XX chromosome. Do you see how now that can work in reverse in a not good way? Hive mind, thinking alike. Now, when we swing the pendulum the other way and we talk about how it works in a good way. So I don't know about you, but most people watching this are professionals, right? Professional women, professional men. I cater to the professional woman. And so with Lift Nation, what we've been able to do is to provide an environment for professional women to thrive, for professional women to be able to associate, because your network determines your net worth. And that doesn't just mean this. Net worth doesn't just mean this. Your values, your morals, your ideas, who you are, who you become. So business communities matter. And that makes me think of other communities. Hey, what's going on, Tanya in the house? How are you doing? Okay. Okay. So Al Jerome says, yeah. Oh, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Al. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. And definitely good evening to you, Tanya. And of course, if you want to put in the chat where you are watching from, make sure you do that. So that way I can give your city, your state, your country, your province, your county a proper shout out. But yes, where we find ourselves associating, the people who we associate with. So we're talking about law of associations. So for those of you who are just tuning in, Tuesday Talks with Ms. Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, welcome to the show. Go ahead and put in the chat where you're watching from so I can give you a proper shout out. Make sure you have your bottle of water handy so that way you can take your own breaks for station identification for your hydration. Mr. Goodson, shouting out Belle Isle. Belle Isle having those Taco Tuesdays at Belle Isle. How you doing, sir? All right. So yes, speaking of Belle Isle, that brings me to community. When we live in a certain community, we have like thoughts, if you will. It can be a little homogeneous, not only in thinking, but also in beliefs, in different practices, different socioeconomic classes, which then, of course, dictates the things you can and cannot do. Now, I'm not trying to say money is everything, but it ranks right up there next to oxygen. Go too long without either one of them, doesn't look too pretty. So, if you find yourself on the short end of either one of those, you're not going to be able to move to and fro as you would like to, experience life and live it more abundantly like you'd like to. And of course, if you are not exposed, meaning if you don't have exposure to different cultures, different concepts, different creeds, I was trying to find something else with a C. I love alliterations, right? Then that can be stifling. That can be help us to be more closed-minded. Because when people don't know something, they may reject it, they may fear it, they may rebuke it, and they may try to obliterate it. So now do you see how hive mind, how law of associations, associating with others, association of things can be contagious, if you will, and can sometimes keep us captive. Sometimes it can open up a whole new world for us, especially when we go from, I like to call it going from a big fish in a small pond to now a small fish in a big pond. So now we've jumped over to the next pond, and now this becomes our associations. So make sure that we don't close ourselves off to something that can help us to grow. So that's my story I'm sticking to it, you all. So, all right, that is of our law of associations. So I would love for you all to go ahead. If you have any questions, put them over in the chat. We can start our rapid fire AMA segment. So that way, if you have any questions, go ahead, put them in the chat, and we can answer them for you. Where is my AMA? There we go. Boom. Yep. So rapid fire AMA, go ahead and ask me anything. We have some time. So, law of associations. Let's go back to how the mind works. I want to break that down just a little bit and then reconnect that with law of associations. So, when we talked about how an event occurs, an event could be anything, you all. An event could be watching a car go by. An event could be watching your favorite movie. An event could be holding hands with someone. An event could be blinking and breathing. It could be the biggest thing, smallest thing, whatever. Small, tall, and all. So we have an event that happens, and it's our thought process that then colors how we see that event, good or bad. Case in point, let's talk about the people at the water cooler. Let's talk about that lady who walks up and she's not like them. And in the song, if they're discriminating against her or holding something against her, don't really care for her just because of that, not because of who she is, substance, character, anything like that. They may say to themselves, oh, one of these people don't belong here. That's their thought process. And if they're in like mind, law of associations, associating with each other, and have that same kind of thought process, they may think to themselves when she walks up, why is she here? Who does she think she is? Why does she think she can come over to where we are? She needs to go back to wherever she came from. Based on that, are they thinking positively or negatively about the event? The event is the woman walking over who's not like them. Well, they would see it as negative. And then based on that, the emotions would be angry, annoyed, irritated. Might even be hatred in the heart. It might be confusion. Any of those things. And then based on that comes the response, the reactions, the outcome. Based on the thought, those negative thoughts generated negative emotions and then pursued negative outcomes. They may talk about her. They may, start whispering. They may call her names. They may blatantly tell her, you need to get out of here. This isn't for you. You don't belong here. Any of those things. Now, does it mean that just because we have a automatic or a negative thought about something that may be automatic, and it may appear automatic. Some of them are automatic, meaning that you can't do anything about it. It pops up in your mind. But generally, they're based in something. It's something from our past, something that's happened to us, something that we've seen, something we've been exposed to, something that now just pops up. We don't ask it to, we don't conjure it up, it happens. Now, we can't control those, we can't stop them from happening, but we can determine how long we sit in those things. We also can determine that when we actively think about something, we can turn the station and now think about something else. So maybe one of those ladies, maybe one of those brave ladies who's with that group, that hive mind, may think to herself, you know what? This isn't cool. I don't like this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to go along with the group and exile this poor lady. She doesn't deserve that. They can think that. They can control that. And then that may have compassion in her. So now they may have compassion and empathy, emotions, right? And then they may break away from the hive, come over to her, and associate, break bread, network. So I just say all that to say this, that our law of associations, right? We get to choose. We get to choose who we want to be. And we get to choose who we associate with. Now, yes, there are some people, we're born into those families. As you're growing up, you may not have the ability to break away if that family is perceivably toxic. But after a certain point, we get to choose. We get to make the decision. And even if we can't break away from them, we still can choose to a certain degree of how much time we spend with them. And guess what? When we talk about law of associations, let's bring this out even more. It doesn't even have to be with someone who's alive today. No, I'm not talking about going to the graveyard. I'm not talking about excavating, right? I'm talking about the fact that we can learn, we can be. Have you ever, like, okay, here's a good one. You watch something, like you may watch your favorite TV show or have your favorite actress, or you may have a favorite motivational speaker or inspirational empowerment speaker. And you listen to them so often, you feel like you know them. Well, guess what? They now have become a part of your associations. That's another way the law of association can work in our favor with our choice over chance. So, all right. That is our Tuesday Talks with Miss Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I hope you enjoyed the show. And our topic today was law of associations. It is still not too late to go ahead and put over the chat. I see some eyeballs. So put in the chat if you'd like to have your city, state, country, continent, providence, wherever, county, if you wanted to have that shouted out, have a proper shout out, then go ahead and do so. All right, you all. So let's get to we have some of our announcements. So, okay. One of our announcements we have is, let me do some scrolling here, you all, is our Synergy community this Saturday. Where are you at, Synergy community? It's like it's hiding from me. Here we go. Boom. So this Saturday, Lift Nation Synergy community, we are having our Synergy community session, our orientation. That's going to be this Saturday, the 18th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome, welcome. I see some more eyeballs popping on. Now, I am not going to give out the bit.ly for this one because in order to participate in our Synergy community, you have to be a member. Now, if you want to find out how to become a member, all you have to do is, of course, you can always hit me up on any of the social media platforms. And in addition to that, you can hit me up at info@MicheleDClark.com. That's info@MicheleDClark.com. Go over to info@MicheleDClark.com. And of course, that's one L Michelle. You don't need two when one does the same. And of course, in the subject matter, if you do happen to hit me up on email, make sure you put in there Synergy Community. And that way, of course, you can put in the body of there any questions you may have and how you can become a member. So hit me up there. Now, yesterday, I dropped one of the perks that we are helping women, professional women. Of course, this is for the ladies only. Sorry, guys, no men allowed. This is only for the ladies, right? Synergy Community is only for the ladies. Lift Nation is only for the ladies. So we dropped how visibility is important. And so to help with visibility, we have different services that helps professional women to get their products and services out there in front of the masses, in front of their target audience. So, if you want to know more about how you can become a Lift Nation Synergy Community member in order to increase your visibility, hit me up, social media, MicheleDClark or MicheleDClark Lift, depending on which avenue you take. I mostly reside on Facebook and LinkedIn, so hit me up in any of those two platforms. I do a little bit of Instagram. It's kind of lame. I got to get my Instagram game up, you guys. All right. But you can hit me up there as well. Quicker response on info at and also on Facebook and LinkedIn. But you want to be in the house, trust me, this Saturday, where we are going to have our orientation, our kickoff, Lift Nation Synergy Community, our first session. So you want to be a part of what happened rather than wondering what happened. So that is one of the things that we help with. Of course, now you know me. You either networking or not working, so you know there's going to be networking. So if you all got a chance to see what comes of networking, with networking, I met Miss Keisha E. Newton with New Innovations, and last week, the Saturday just passed, on the 11th, we had our colossal collaboration that created, that sponsored, that birthed our Women Inspiring Women International inaugural celebration. OMG, people are still talking about that today. People are still talking about that and raving about how much fun they had and how much they loved hearing the women speak, how much they loved networking afterwards. That's the kind of things that we put together when we network. I wouldn't have met Keisha E. Newton if I had not been networking. So, and the ladies who spoke, I would not have met them to be able to invite them, just like Keisha. She wouldn't have been able to met them and invite them to speak if they were not networking. So it is important to be a part of a network and to work the net. So, all right, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So make sure you hit me up, info@micheledclark.com or any social medias, MicheleDClark or MicheleDClark Lift, in order to find out how you, the professional woman, can become a part of our synergy community with Lift Nation. All right, you all. Now, I also talked about that I actually was going to, let me get that back up. I was going to give an announcement today. I've decided to hold out. I want you all to tune in, and I'm going to drop the date. I'm going to drop the date of when I'm going to give this announcement. It's a big announcement. You'll want to know what it is. So tune in tomorrow for our Win in 10 minutes or less fundamental moments, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in tomorrow to see if I'm going to drop the announcement. Well, when the date is, then I'm going to drop the announcement. Or if I'm going to drop it tomorrow. But tune in tomorrow. 1 in 10 minutes or less fundamental moments tomorrow evenings. I thank you all so much for tuning in tonight for our Tuesday Talks with Ms. Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tune in next week. Next week, we are going to have some guests on. So yes, we're going to have some guests on next week. So yes, be on your best behavior. We're going to have some guests in the house next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Tuesday Talks with Ms. Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you tune in so then that way you'll know who we're going to have in the room. All right. Other than that, tune in tomorrow for our 1 in 10 minutes or less fundamental moments where we help you with easy and simple strategies so that way you, the professional woman, can live inspired, free, and transformed. All right, you all, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. My name is MicheleDClark. I am the mindset management coach for professional women, where we empower you, the professional woman, to live inspired, free, and transform. Take care. God bless. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you all tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our 1 in 10 minutes or less fundamental moments. Take care. God bless.